This episode is sponsored by City Traders Imperium. CTI is a prop trading firm looking for profitable Forex traders who need more capital. CTI will back its traders up to $2 million, which is the most in the industry, and thousands of traders worldwide are trading their capital remotely from their own home. It's the most flexible funding provider in the industry, where any strategy is welcome and overnight or weekend positions are allowed. Plus, CTI doubles your account every time you hit 10% net gain, which you can scale up to $2 million. Click the link in the description to find out why City Trader offer the best funded trader program in the industry, or visit citytradersimperium.com. All right, folks, here we are back on Trading Up. We've got Build That Bot here with Hunter FX. So welcome back to the show, first of all. And let's hand it over to you. So what we're going to do is attempt to find, or we're going to learn a strategy from Hunter FX here, and we're basically going to see if I can automate that. And in the future, we'll jump back on here, have a look at the results, and see if it worked or if it didn't, and then we'll go from there. So over to you, mate. What do you got for us?
Cool. So this was actually something that I was excited in thinking about trying myself a while back. So I'm glad that you're going to be able to program it for me so I don't have to. It was a strategy that I had used when I first started becoming somewhat profitable. It was a decent strategy, and it was a swing trading strictly strategy. And I wanted to basically be able to just scan all the pairs every single day without actually having to do anything. And check them all every day because I kind of got bored with this strategy, but it was working pretty well. And essentially, the logic behind it is, let's say that we see this range here in Euro USD, and we see the highs and the lows here. Essentially, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be drawing out the actual peaks of the pivot points here. So let's say that that is our big pivot point there. And this is our low pivot point there of the range. What we're going to use is the logic. What basically happens is every time we see a pivot point, we know that major banks had resting orders there, and then that's what shifted the trend on the major time frame. And this will only work on the higher time frame because those major bank orders. So you can see an example here of basically what happened was it went slightly past these guys, and then it filled a little bit more of those bank orders before reversing back in the other direction. So the same logic is going to apply here. Is what we're going to be doing is then placing an entry on the retail trader stop and basically where more of those banks would be resting. We would then be targeting the bottom of the range, but we would also be looking to take profits at an important key level here, right? Around 50% or the equilibrium point. Or, you know, line it up with, ideally, you would want to line it up with an actual level here. This is a demand level. But generally, I would say when I was trading this, 70% of the time, it would go, maybe not 70, 60% of the time, it would go to the equilibrium point, and it would be quite good. And then it would largely often reject after that point. So you can see here, oh, I missed one thing. We would then place the stop at an equal point of 3R, because we know that if we're taking 50% off here, we're getting only 1.5R at that level.
Yep.
And we want to make sure that we are profitable, right? So we need more than 1R if we have a higher than 50% win rate. The next thing that we could have done with our stop is actually put it behind the previous level right here, right? So if I just draw this line here, you can see where that would work. And I noticed that this was a little bit smarter idea later down the line, but using it for a bot, we can simply basically just say 3R is perfectly fine. You can see that this actually works way better in terms of when we put it behind that level. But if we did 3R, then, you know, this trade would then come out to be, you know, you take 50% off here, it would come back, and then it would take all of it off there. And this would actually be a really great trade. I think it would average out to like 2.2R or something like that. The next trade, then, you know, let's just kind of look what happened here. I didn't actually remember what happened, but we would enter here, right? We would enter, we would target there, and then we would look for, is there a level behind? There's no level behind, so let's look for a 3R setup, right? 3R, bring it to 3R, and we would just barely be stopped out in this case. But you can see the logic still kind of applying, and it would be interesting to see, you know, what if we tried a 2R? Because 2R is also going to be profitable generally, because if we took 50% off at the halfway point, that would be 1R. and then we would just have to hit more profit at some point, right? And more profit than losers, right? So it would be interesting to see if that also works. But that's essentially the strategy.
Okay, well let me grab your control of your mouse. So I'm just going to request control now and go through a couple of things which I think are going to be, well, we're going to need to sort of work out, right? So this is the point here that we're focusing on, and we're going to draw a line from there, and that's our entry point. That's right?
Yep.
Okay, so we need to identify that point on a regular basis. The way I'd do it is most probably with the fractal candle. So the fractal indicator, which can be used over a number of candles, which means like we could have like a 10 period fractal starting from here. It's looking for the highest point over there, and then going back on, is it still the highest point? Yep. Okay, great. We've identified that point. The problem is we're probably going to identify that point there, potentially that point there, and we'll also get this one here. We'll also probably get that one there. Not that one, not that one, not that one, that one there. Okay, so we're going to get a lot of these points if I do it that way. First of all, is that going to be an issue? Because, well, we need to sort of rethink things. Or
yes.
I mean, yeah.
So,
hey guys, just jumping in here quickly. Now, look, if you're wondering, how does Cam build these robots? Well, this is how I do it. I use a drag and drop editor called FX Streamer. You can see it here in front of you. You can see you can drag these things on the screen. You can drop things into this area here. You can connect them up. Basically, it saves me hours and hours and hours, if not days and weeks, of building trading robots. If I was going to code it or get a developer to do it, you can literally fully automate, or even semi-automate some of your trading. Now, I've got a free course underneath the video here. Okay, it's a free training. You get a robot with it. You get to play with it. You get to learn how to trade with robots if it's completely new to you. There's also, I'll walk you through a bit about FX Streamer. Now, if you want to build robots like me and condense the 6 years of knowledge that and skills and tips and techniques and strategies that I've come up with for building these robots, then I've got my Robot Builders Club. So you get over 20 trading robots with the club that I've built. You learn the strategies of those as well. You also get the 7-day course, which walks you through from A to B, everything I've learned over the 6 years, all my strategies, all my tactics about building robots as quickly as possible and getting them to do exactly what you want them to do. Guys, it's a great skill to have, trust me. Now, look, if you're wanting to join, there should be a link underneath this video, and there should be a promo going on at the moment, so check it out right now. But for now, let's get back on and see what the rest of the video with Hunter has to reveal.
When I was doing this, I do have some data for it. And I noticed that when I zoomed down to anything less than the 4 hour, it was not profitable anymore. So if you're grabbing these as pivot points, those won't work. So what I had to do is I would go on the 4 hour and I would zoom all the way out. And then I would just say, it's very difficult because I don't know how you're going to be able to apply this to robot logic. I would zoom out and I would say, where are the extremity points, right? And I would say, okay, well, obviously it's here for that range. And then maybe use an obvious one here too, right? Which
I think I know what
you
we
can
can
kind
do
of see how this one worked too, right? That's an obvious point.
Yeah.
And it just went slightly past and then dove all the way back down to the other side.
Okay, I think I know what we can do. We can do extreme pivot points.
Extremes, yes.
Yeah. So like if we do like a 50 or 100 pivot point, then fractal, then what that means is we're essentially going to be picking out this point here, ignoring these two, perhaps getting that one. We'll get that one, and we'll get that one. So we're basically doing extremes. Yeah,
this one might work too.
Okay, right? Yeah, exactly. So so then we've got to. So that's okay. We're just trying this, right? It may not work. It may not. It may work.
That'd be super cool. Okay, because then you don't have to look at all these pairs every single day.
Yeah, and so then assuming we pick this pivot point here, right? And then we're now looking at that'll be a fractal down. So now we're looking for the next fractal up, which is probably going to be here. if we're doing these extremes. No, would that be it? We might have to come up with our own sort of way to do the fractal, because that one, it could be that one there, or it could be this one here, depending on how extreme we do it. Or, thinking we might need to do different things. For example, what I mean by that is, to get the entry fractal, we might need to do an extreme like 50 or 100. So that means it's the lowest point in the last 50 and the lowest point in the last 100. Last 50 on this side. What that means is, at this point here, we know that's the point that we're looking for. Okay, which is great, because then we've got a chance for it to come back to that point and then take our trade. On the flip side, trying to find the point on the other end, so where we're going to get out, that might be like way back here, just because we're using such an extreme fractal. And if it is, it starts to screw with this whole strategy. Although it doesn't, but really, because if you look at that trade there, if you take 50%, you're still going to make 50%.
You would still get 50%. You would still get 50% off. So maybe play with the different profit targets. I had done before, I think a 25, a 50, and a 25, right? So it would be 25 at 1R, 25 or 50 at the equilibrium, and then 25 at the final destination there, right? So you would have 75% off at halfway point, basically.
Yeah, so we could play with that. The other thing I was thinking we could do is play with the opposite fractal as well. So instead of having a target which is the same as, say it's 50 point fractal going down, maybe we're targeting like a 25 point fractal on the other end.
Yep.
Which means, so our target's probably going to be closer. When we do hit that level, then we can sort of, target that. So, okay. And so there's two things we can do. We can either do that, or we can do the different exit strategies and just see what happens. Cool. I like it. I think we've got something there. It's codable. We're on one time frame, which makes it easier. And, could be big risk to reward as well. So in a number of markets, you reckon it works across a whole bunch of markets?
Yeah. When I was doing this, what I would do is every single morning, I look for those, and then I would wait for the entry, and I would just do it once a day, but I would go through absolutely everything I could, and everything worked, because they're all following the same bank logic, that there's resting orders behind big players with big resting orders. I would say trending markets, not as good, but ranging markets definitely way better.
Wow. Cool. Okay. Brilliant. Well, look, let me head over and build the spot.
Awesome. Okay.
All right, but before we wrap up, what's the best way for the guys to get hold of you?
Oh, we're doing this again.
Yeah.
So just YouTube Hunter FX, and then any of the videos, there should be a link in the description for a Discord. If you do want to message me within the Discord there, and I might respond. Who knows?
Cool, brilliant, guys. And do remember there are links under the show notes to find out all more about Hunter and more about Trading Nuts. And also do remember to subscribe to the channel, hit the like button on this video, and click the notifications bell. If you're not already getting notifications, make sure you tick the all box as well. And folks, we'll see you on the next video, where we get back on here with Hunter and go through the results of this trading robot.